At exactly 14:32 hours on June 18, 2027, the false calm over the Strait of Hormuz was shattered. On the bridge of the Arleigh Burke-class destroyer USS John Finn, a distress call crackled over the guard frequency. The vessel in distress was the Gas Al-Anbiya, a massive 300-meter Q-Max LNG tanker. According to its AIS beacon, it was dead in the water just 12 nautical miles ahead, disabled by a reported engine fire. The Finn's captain ordered his vessel to alter course and increase speed to 25 knots to render assistance. But as they closed the distance, an eerie silence descended. All attempts to raise the tanker on VHF Channel 16 met with static. No crew were visible on its decks. No firefighting efforts could be seen. The tanker drifted slowly, its immense bulk swinging perpendicular to the traffic separation scheme. It was settling into the perfect position to create a choke point in the 2-mile-wide channel. This was no accident. It was bait. At 14:37 hours, the trap springs. A localized 5-gigawatt electromagnetic pulse erupts from the Gas Al-Anbiya, a directed energy weapon disguised as a comms array. Inside the USS John Finn CIC, the world turns to static. The ship's advanced SPY-6 radar array is instantly blinded, its screens flickering into darkness. Simultaneously, along 80 miles of Iranian coastline, at least 12 coastal defense radar systems flare to life. The distress call was a lie. The American destroyer hasn't found a vessel in distress. It has sailed into a perfectly executed kill box. This was no civilian tanker. It was a meticulously prepared Q ship, a Trojan Horse packed with 170,000 cubic meters of liquified natural gas, a floating bomb designed to detonate with devastating force. Simultaneously, 15 miles inland, Iranian coastal defense batteries unmask. Multiple Noor anti-ship cruise missiles acquire targeting locks on the Finn. From hidden coves along the coast, a new threat emerges. Over 30 IRGC high-speed Boghammar patrol boats, a naval wolf pack closing at 45 knots. And beneath the waves, the trap's silent anchor reveals itself. A Kilo-class diesel-electric submarine running on batteries at 4 knots had been waiting for this exact moment. But the trap's deadliest component remained unseen, 75 meters beneath the waves. An Iranian Kilo-class submarine, designation Project 877EKM, had stalked the USS Carney for 36 hours. Now, just 4,500 yards off the destroyer's port quarter, its commander saw his moment. Inside the control room, the order was given. A low hydraulic groan echoed through the hull as the outer doors for 4 torpedo tubes flooded open. The weapons were Type 5365 wake-homing torpedoes, designed not to seek the ship but the churning chaos left behind it. The submarine's crew waited for the surface battle to peak, using the acoustic bedlam to mask their final lethal move. The trap is sprung. From the north, 12 Shahed 136 drones saturate the sky. Simultaneously, 4 Noor anti-ship missiles launch from concealed coastal batteries, screaming in at Mach 0.8 just 15 meters above the waves. From below, the Iranian Kilo-class submarine achieves a firing solution at 6,000 meters. This is a 360-degree multi-domain kill box, meticulously planned. For the USS Kearney, there is no retreat. Technological superiority faces a perfectly executed ambush. What about you? Do you believe the U.S. Navy's layered defense could break this stalemate? Comment with your opinion below. But the trap has a flaw. High above at 30,000 feet, an EA-18G Growler, call sign Wraith-11, detects the massive spike in radar emissions. The electronic warfare officer sees the distinct signature of Iranian fire control systems locking on. Immediately, he activates the wing-mounted ALQ-99 jamming pods. A targeted barrage of disruptive energy floods the Iranian network below. Simultaneously, the Growler's systems convert the enemy's own radar signals into a precise targeting solution. This data streams back to the USS Mason via the secure NIFC-CA data link, painting the hidden enemy batteries on the destroyer's previously blind tactical displays. The NIFC-CA data link floods the USS John Finn's Combat Information Center. Instantly, the Aegis Baseline 9 combat system bypasses its own blinded sensors, processing the Growler's targeting data. A firing solution is calculated in 1.2 seconds. On deck, 12 Mark 41 VLS hatches hiss open. With a thunderous roar, the cells erupt. A volley of SM-6 and SM-2 missiles blast skyward, their rocket motors burning brilliant white against the sea. They streak towards the incoming Iranian wave, a desperate defensive barrage in a lethal race against the clock. The fight for survival has begun. The VLS smoke still hangs in the air, but the primary threat isn't just from the sky. On the fantail flight deck, 2 MH-60R Seahawk helicopters are already spooled up. Their rotors whip the salt spray into a frenzy, blades chopping the air. These are the warlords, hunter killers armed for asymmetric surface warfare. Beneath their stub wings, 8 AGM-114 Hellfire missiles, ready for launch. A crew chief in the open side door mans a 7.62mm machine gun. With final clearance, the first Seahawk, call sign Viper 11, lifts off the steel deck. It pitches forward and banks hard, its nose dipping towards the horizon. The second helo, Viper 12, follows just 15 seconds later. Their joint mission: intercept the IRGC Boghammar swarm, closing at over 45 knots. They must eliminate the 20-plus fast attack craft before they reach torpedo range. The air-to-surface battle for the John Finn's survival has just begun. Simultaneously, 150 nautical miles to the northeast, a U.S. Navy P-8A Poseidon, call sign Trident 44, banks hard at 25,000 feet. It had been loitering on station over the Gulf of Oman when the fleet-wide threat warning flashed across its consoles. Now its mission is singular: hunt the hunter. The weapons bay doors slide open. The crew begins deploying a curtain of 24 ANSSQ-53G passive acoustic sonobuoys. Each one drops into the churning water below, creating a wide area acoustic sensor network. Their target? A silent, lurking Iranian Kilo-class submarine, codenamed Viper 1. Aboard the USS John Finn, the Aegis combat system responds instantly. A salvo of 16 SM-6 interceptors erupts from the forward VLS cells, streaking skyward on columns of white fire. Initial intercepts are successful. Flashes of light bloom against the horizon as the first wave of Iranian missiles is destroyed, but the sheer volume is overwhelming. Simultaneously, the disguised Q-ship unleashes a powerful, localized jamming field, spoofing 2 of the SM-6s, which veer off into empty sky. Through the chaos, 4 Norse sea-skimming cruise missiles breach the outer screen. They drop to just 15 feet above the waves, now screaming towards the John Finn at Mach 0.9. The John Finn's final line of defense roars to life. 2 Phalanx CIWS mounts autonomously acquire the 4 sea skimmers. Their M61 Vulcan cannons spin up, unleashing a terrifying torrent. A dense wall of 20mm tungsten tracers rips across the waves. The first Nor missile disintegrates into a cloud of metal confetti. The second is shredded less than 500 yards from the hull. The third detonates in a premature fireball, its warhead cooked off. But the fourth missile, flying a terminal weave, slips through the storm. Impact. It slams into the aft superstructure above the flight deck. A concussive blast tears through steel, igniting fuel and munitions. The Arleigh Burke shudders violently, alarms screaming, wounded but not broken. Aboard the Ghadir-class submarine, Commander Asghari sees the missile's impact. The trap is sprung. At 1541 hours, he gives the order: Fire 1 and 2. Two 533mm wake-homing torpedoes eject from their tubes, accelerating to over 50 knots. Inside the USS John Finn's sonar control, the warning is instantaneous. A young operator screams into the comms, "Con! Sonar! Torpedo in the water! Bearing 090! High speed!" The destroyer lurches into a hard rudder turn, deploying AN/SLQ-25 Nixie acoustic decoys. But these torpedoes aren't listening. They are hunting the ship's turbulent wake. With the John Finn's attention locked on the incoming torpedoes, the Iranians play their final card. On the bridge of the nearby LNG tanker, servo motors whir, unmanned. Its massive liquid propulsion engines ignite, churning the sea into a white froth. The 300,000-ton vessel pivots, its colossal bow swinging to align with the crippled American destroyer. It was never a civilian vessel. It was a remote-controlled IED, a floating bomb. Now accelerating to 18 knots, it closes the final 2,000 meters. The trap is sprung. The target is painted. With the John Finn's phalanx CIWS unable to depress low enough to target the tanker's bridge and its 5-inch main gun cycling too slowly for the closing range, a flash message screams from CENTCOM. Order, interdict, immediate. At a forward operating base near Muscat, Oman, SEAL Team 5 is already geared up. Their ride, a combatant craft heavy, designation Mako. Within 90 seconds, they are aboard, its twin 2,600 horsepower diesels roaring to life. The 80-foot craft lunges from its pen, pushing past 40 knots as it carves a white gash across the dark waves on a desperate intercept course. Their mission: board a moving bomb. Onboard navigation shows a closing vector. Collision is less than 7 minutes away. The combatant craft heavy slams through churning waves, closing the final 200 meters to the tanker's port side. Tracers erupt from the tanker's superstructure. IRGC Quds Force operatives are dug in, laying down heavy machine gun fire. The SEALs on board brace, C-clamps locked onto their M4A1s as 7.62mm rounds pepper their craft's armored plating. CENTCOM's data link confirms the tanker's trajectory, 110 seconds to impact. The USS John Finn cannot evade. There is no other option. The coxswain skillfully brings the CCH parallel to the rust-streaked hull, the boat bucking violently in the tanker's wake as the team leader signals. The boarding operation is a go. 100 seconds. SEAL Team Alpha is on board, grappling lines secured. 92 seconds. Suppressive fire from 2 IRGC operatives pins them behind a winch assembly. 85 seconds. An M84 flashbang arcs over the deck, detonating with incapacitating force. 78 seconds. The 8-man team moves, clearing the lower deck with controlled bursts from their HK-416s. 2 hostiles down. 70 seconds. They ascend the superstructure, a blur of motion and disciplined violence against the tanker's steel maze. Reaching the bridge door, on deck 4, they stack up. A breaching charge is set. Time is running out. Warlock, the SEAL team leader, slams onto the bridge. 15 seconds. He ignores the neutralized crew, eyes scanning for the kill switch. He finds it. A crude detonation circuit wired directly into the tanker's satellite uplink. 12 seconds. The supertanker's bow is now just 40 meters from the USS John Finn's hull, a steel wall filling the bridge's viewport. 9 seconds. He draws his combat knife, no time for delicate work. 7 seconds. He saws frantically at the thick, shielded cable. 5 seconds. Sparks erupt as the blade slices through the final copper strands. The tanker's engines scream, then fall silent. Inertia carries it forward, its bow stopping just 3 meters from the destroyer's hull, the trap finally broken. With the tanker neutralized, the remaining IRGC crew scuttle their consoles, thermite charges erasing all evidence. Simultaneously, 20 nautical miles away, the Iranian Kilo-class submarine, call sign Ghost, uses the acoustic chaos to slip silently past the USN sonar net. Its mission data is secure. By morning, Tehran will deny everything. The boundaries of war have changed, and the next ambush will not be a drill.